from Pip Magazine, and welcome to another edition of Simple Skills for Self-Sufficiency. Today we're talking urban foraging. The thing I love most about foraging is it doesn't matter if you have your own permaculture paradise or you're living in the middle of the suburbs. Foraging is something that anybody can do to find free, nutritious food. It's the ultimate low food miles food. This little bounty we picked up on a quick walk this morning, and it all came from within just a couple of blocks of our house. Edible weeds are a great source of free food wherever you live, and I'm going to show you 3 of my favourite ones today. But a word of warning, when harvesting leafy greens and roots to eat, be careful that you're harvesting them only from an area that you're pretty sure is free from soil contamination. This is dandelion, arguably the king of the weeds. Look for these sharp lion's tooth shaped leaves, which are great in salads and stir fries. The edible flowers, you can make a fun tempura with these or garnish any salad with them. And my favourite part are the delicious roots, which I roast up for a DIY tea or coffee substitute. Chickweed is another one that's coming up at this time of year. It's nutty and mild, and I think it's a pretty good one in salads or in place of a spinach. You just have to be careful with this one that you don't get it confused with petty spurge. Look for little star-shaped white flowers at the tips of the plant and a long single line of hairs along each stem. Onionweed is also around at this time of year. It doesn't have its characteristic nodding white flowers yet. Look for these leek-shaped leaves with 3 corners and a strong ridge along the back. And when you break them, you smell onions, then you've got yourself some onionweed. Feijoas. These little guavas have got to be one of the best foraging treasures around, and they're ripening at this time of year. Look for smooth, glossy oval leaves and green, torpedo-shaped fruit. Irish strawberry. These trees carpet pavements in our area with their bright red fruit at this time of year. Look for small, glossy, serrated leaves and birds trying to beat you to the harvest. Olives are turning black at this time of year, so it's a great time to grab a bucket or 2 and see if you can find some olive trees growing on a nature strip or in a park near you. Crabapples are often planted for their beautiful spring floral displays, and not so much for their tiny, sometimes sour or bitter tasting fruit. But we love them. The kids eat them fresh like this, and you can make them into desserts, jams and jellies. Quinces, these aren't the greatest specimens, but they're free and they're finishing up their season at this time of year. Figs are another great one that are finishing up at this time of year, if you can beat the birds to them. Other notable fruit mentions are prickly pear, wear gloves if you're going to harvest these, rose hips and lily pillies. Fruit is a great thing to forage for. Not only is it delicious, but it's widely accepted that plants tend not to deposit contaminants into their fruit. If you can beat the cockies to them, walnuts are the holy grail of nut foraging in autumn. If none are to be found, there are plenty of other nuts that you can find. Pine nuts from stone pine trees can be found at this time of year. Look for those tall, beautiful pine trees that you see often in parkland with stripy orange bark. And you'll also see the cockies often make a mess of the pine cones. They'll be strewn underneath the tree. Take these home, leave them in a basket for a few months, and you'll find they start to open up. Inside them, there are these cute little seeds that have almost like a wing on them, and inside each of these is a little tiny pine nut. And when you've had a go at cracking them for an hour or 2, you'll see why pine nuts are so expensive. Macadamia nuts are also ripening at this time of year. They start out as gorgeous green baubles like this, and when they're ripening they start to turn brown and split open, exposing the hard shell of the nut inside. Another difficult nut to crack, but pretty delicious and worth the effort. Another nut that is easy to find, plentiful at this time of year, and you won't have much competition for is acorns. For a full guide to foraging for and eating acorns, check out PIP issue number 9. Fungi are the quintessential foraging symbol, but to be honest, I wouldn't be recommending foraging for these. They are about at this time of year, but unless you're an expert in mycology, you're pretty much running the risk of giving yourself severe gastroenteritis at the very best, and at the worst, landing yourself in hospital with life-threatening complications. If you're really wanting to get into foraging, then I would recommend checking out PIP magazine and supporting our work by subscribing. Every single issue we profile a different weed that you can eat and how to find it, as well as how to save seeds, growing guides, and a whole heap more. You can subscribe to PIP magazine at pipmagazine.com.au. You can also check out our blog there, which is packed with recipes and ideas for many of the things that we've talked about today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications, and we'll catch you next time.